Hello everyone, welcome to my guide for solo queuing to Apex Predator in Arenas in Season 13. First of all, I want to thank you for clicking on my guide and I hope this will be of use to you. This season I've reached Predator as a solo queue player in the first week of Season 13. And I can say I'm a pretty competent player, but nowhere to being an actual pro or better than most Master Predator level players. This is the reason why I will make this guide. I will hope it will make you understand better how Arena's ranked works and why certain people get there easier and some are hard stuck in the lower tiers. I hope you will enjoy the videos. In the background you will see some gameplay of how I won against a 3-stack Master Arenas player with lower level teammates, which is a good example of how basic communication, positive team vibe and thinking outside of the box can really help you win. First of all, I want to explain to you how I have understood the point system to work. The amount of points you will gain is very dependent on your current matchmaking rating. I will refer to this as MMR, and also very important is your previous gained rank. Simply put, if last season you got into Diamond, let's say, your MMR is set on you being a Diamond level player when the next season or split starts. So the new season starts, you play your placement matches and your MMR will be set on you being a Diamond player for the most part. The placement matches performance seems to matter less for what I've seen. What happened to me is I got to Masters in Arenas previous season, played my placement matches and got put in Bronze 4. But the opponents I faced were all Master or Predator level players. This proves that the system for matchmaking looks at your MMR and not at your current rank. So even though most of the Master or Predator players got a low rank, they still got a really high MMR. Why Master or Predator players got put this low in the ranking is still a mystery to me, and in the community is referred to as a bug. But is for this explanation not important? Well, because I got a really low rank, but MMR of a Master player, every time I will win, I will gain a substantial amount of points all the way up to Diamond 1. This is because I was playing against people whose MMR are Master level. My MMR is Master level, but the rank I'm in is below that. So the point system gives me a lot of points until my MMR closely matches my rank. I've gained plus 100 points until Diamond 2. From Diamond 2 till Diamond 1 I gained 80 to 40 points, and Diamond 1 I gained 14 to 60 points. The losses stayed at minus 12 at most of the time, and minus 30 when I lost the game I should have won based on the MMR of the enemy team. The points gained decreased a lot later in Diamond because I was getting closer to my previous gained rank, because again, the rank was close to the rank my MMR suggested. So maybe now you understand why it's possible for me to get Predator in the first week of Season 13 without having to play a ridiculous amount of games. Mind that if you eventually hit Master or Predator, your MMR will be basically capped out. So the points gains will be mostly plus 12 for a win and minus 12 for a loss, with some exceptions. So, if you wish to maintain Predator rank, you will have to have a positive win rate and be good enough to beat Master Predator level squads consistently. Most people who play Arenas ranked will play until Gold, Platinum or Diamond, so their MMR will be set at that rank. When the time comes they decided they want to get Masters, they will be surprised to see that they're only gaining plus 12 in early Diamond, or even Platinum and Gold. This makes it a really long and frustrating grind for a lot of people, so they never break through the barrier and consider themselves hard stuck. My advice to you is this: play ranked arenas with a goal. Aim one rank higher than your previous gained rank in the last split. So if you got gold, play to plat. If you play to plat, play to diamond, and so on. The reason why I say this is because of the amount of points you will be given is still positive, which means that you will gain more points for a win than you will lose when you lose a game. This means you will be able to get your rank without having to have a win ratio over 50% and still gaining decent points. So it won't take an eternity just to rank up. Why this is important is because if you're solo queuing, having a high win ratio is difficult and only possible if you're really good at the game. MMR is really hard to fix in a positive way, but negatively influencing your MMR through bad performances is possible. That is why you will have to be a good mechanical player who contributes to the team and carries his weight. If your MMR is diamond but you consistently lose to diamond players and don't perform well in the matches, you will eventually degrade your MMR, facing lower level opponents and having worse teammates, and decreased points gain. So this is where the skill comes in. You'll have to make sure that you keep performing at your level, do damage, get knocks, and try to have a good win rate. Don't worry too much about losing though. Worry about your performance. This ensures that even though you lose a game and lose points, your MMR will still be at your current state. So that will mean that your point gain will still be good. So play to the best of your ability, play at your level. I hope this clears up the matchmaking system of arenas for you. Note, this explanation is based on my experiences in the game. Respawn doesn't like to be open about how the system works in detail, so this is based on my findings. If you think I got something wrong, please tell me and the viewers in the comment section. This will help everyone that is watching this guide. Ranked arenas, especially on higher tiers, usually plays out in a very predictable way. You have two teams, the objective, as you know, is to kill the enemy squad to win. And people play in a way that gives them the most chance to win. Usually both teams will try to get the power positions in the map, whilst trying to get the heals and crafting materials. Strategies and positions that players use vary from player to player. The zone will always pull to one side of the map. In higher level play, usually everyone goes to the zone at the start of the round, because when you're not in the zone and the enemy squad understands that, they can hold you. They will do that for an easy win when you're struggling trying to rotate in. An exception to this rule is Pathfinder players, as they can grapple in very quickly to support their team. They can get away with holding angles far away from their team, creating unexpected angles that can be hard to read. There are certain meta ways to play maps, which you will find out through experience, with the most obvious being the Mad Maggie strategy on drop-off. It's very predictable, but hard to beat, so the strategy keeps being usable through time. She will throw her ult instantly at the start of the round, so she and her team can go take the center of the map, which is also the power position, putting the enemy team at a disadvantage. In time you will get used to the different strategies players use on different maps. You will be able to use those strategies yourself or think of ways to counter the strategies commonly used. I would advise you to be familiar and be using those strategies first before using unorthodox methods to counter this, so you can get a good feeling of how it is played and what the weaknesses of such strategies are. As a solo player, you are at a disadvantage because of a lack of communication, and you will have to be more aware of what is going on. I like to always know where my teammates are and have a constant eye on their health bars. That way, you know how long it will take to get to them, or how long it will take to support them when they actually need support. Also, you can be aware of them pushing in without a good reason, and if they are just too far away from you and your other teammate. If you see they get really low or they are far away from your team, you should expect the enemy team to push your teammate. If you can support them in those occasions, your success rate in a round will definitely go up. Eventually, your playstyle will be formed based on your preferences, lesson choices, and your strength as a player. For example, you will have the Gibby Lifeline player. They are supportive characters, as you know, and they are very effective at resetting your team if one goes down in battle. If you are supportive like that, I would advise you to play behind or very close to your team, and not be the one deciding to push an advantage. Playing like this will be of great help for your team, but it comes at the disadvantage of you having to rely on your team, since you are supportive and not the one really putting pressure on the enemy team. I would advise this playstyle if your mechanical skill is still a bit lacking, so you will still be of great help to your team. My preferred playstyle is being in between or at the front of my team, putting a lot of pressure on the enemy team and trying to get the first knock constantly. Why I like to do this is because I feel like I can win my 1v1s and I have to rely less on my team to be good enough to get the first knock or not to go down before that happens. If you want to play like this, you want to have a legend that can disengage very well. My preferred legend for this is Bangalore. Her passive, Double Time, gives a speed boost when shot at, and combined with the smoke you can really be aggressive, while still having enough movement to disengage when you lose an exchange. Her passive also allows you to peek very wide, allowing some extra angles you can get to damage or down an enemy. Other characters that are good for this are Pathfinder, Octane, and Raid, all because of their disengage abilities. Another strategy is getting off angles, being far away from your team, mostly on the side between your team and the enemy team. Pathfinder is almost necessary for this, because you will need to be able to get to your team very quickly if they get pushed, because if the enemy team sees you being far away, they will just try to 3v2 your team. I've seen people use this strategy to great success, but I don't prefer this strategy because again, you will need to rely on your team to not go down whilst you are trying to get angles on the enemy team. It's definitely one you could try if your mid-range aim and positioning is very good. There are many other strategies related to legends. Scanning legends like Bloodhound are very good if solo queuing, because it provides information while having no communication, and Horizon players to get aggressive angles from a queue. I won't go in depth in every single one of them, because then this video will be hours long. Just make sure you will have a preferred strategy that works for you, and that you can support your teammates if they are in trouble. What is also important to your playstyle is your weapon choice. Me as a Bangalore main, I will 95% of the time use the Mozambique. This gun is very strong close range, still has some mid range, has high stray speed and is very cheap. So Digi-Threat is easy to get for the smokes. And I will be able to purchase my ultimate if I'm down 2 rounds, or buy a lot of shields, smokes and nades. My way of thinking is, it is better to use 1 or 2 guns and stick to them, as over time you will get very good with them and you will be able to use them to the best of your abilities. I don't think it's a good idea to just keep switching weapons whenever things are not going your way. I will use the Mozambique, like I said, almost always, but if I'm consistently losing my close range fights against a team, I will swap it out to an R301 and play a mid-range. This way, I have 2 strategies I can play with the guns I use. My default and my backup. Good weapons to use in my opinion are, like mentioned before, the Mozambique, meta weapon. Because of low cost, high DPS, good burst damage and high stray speed. Hammer point will do a lot of damage per shot if the shields are correct. The R301, also a meta weapon. Everyone's favorite weapon if reliable damage is what you're looking after. Can be used in almost every range. Flatline. Almost like the R301, but a bit less reliable, but more damage per mag. Devotion. In later rounds, you will be able to buy a Devotion with a turbocharger. Considered by many to still after the nerfs to be the best gun in arenas. This is because of the extremely high DPS and damage per mag. It is hard to control the recoil, but it is after some practice certainly overpowered in my opinion, and is also sure to piss off the enemy team if you do use it. Havoc with the turbocharger. It's like a smaller Devotion, but a bit less strong and mid-range isn't too great, because of the hard to control recoil, but absolutely shreds players if you hit your shots. Sentinel Charge. A very good weapon, if the off-angle playstyle is your preferred one. It will do a lot of damage per shot, making the enemy team use up all their shields, and because you will be further away, the enemy team probably won't be able to damage you a lot. The Wingman. Still a great weapon in arenas, but because of the inconsistency it has for almost every player, I can't recommend it to you, except if you're really good with it. The burst damage is very good, and it has the ability to down multiple people per mag. The Peacekeeper. Very good gun in drop-off, because of the close range nature of the map. The high burst damage will be a big problem for the enemy team if you play cover well and hit your shots. This is just my opinion though. If you are very good at, let's say, the R99, it is a good weapon to use for you. It's all about preference in the end. Just remind, there are meta ways of playing this game mode, and sticking to the meta will be best for most players. Now I want to talk about something else. Something that is underrated and not talked about a lot is the mentality you will have to have in this game mode. Even more as a solo. You will encounter a lot of toxicity from your enemy team and your own teammates. You will lose a lot of matches which are out of your control, because of mistakes your teammates will make, or because matchmaking decided to give you a match that is nearly impossible to win. Like having 2 golds in your team while the enemy team is a 3-stack predator team. You will lose -30s, and for matches while the enemy team was just much better than yours, you will be screamed at by your teammates for no good reason and be teabagged constantly by the enemy team. This will be tilting, upset you and could make you toxic to your teammates. The problem with being tilted is that it will always affect you in a negative way. Being tilted will take away your ability to really be in the zone and perform to the best of your ability. You won't like the game at that moment, which will make you play lazy, because you don't really care anymore. You will maybe be toxic to your teammates at a certain point, which will make them play worse too, increasing the chance of you losing and tilting more. What will happen then is that you will be on a downward spiral. You will lose a game, you tilt, you play worse, you lose again, you tilt more, lose another one, and so on. People say that you should just take a break if that happens to you. This is very true. It will refresh your mind and you won't be as mad as you were before. The problem is though, it won't fix you tilting again. So you will have to look at your mindset to the game. See arenas ranked as a journey of you becoming a better player. Don't focus too much on just getting the desired rank. If you lose a game, try to be objective about it. Try to see what you could have done better. If you lose a game because your team threw very hard, say to yourself, well, there was nothing I could do, so it's okay. Not something that is worth being mad about, since the outcome couldn't be changed anyways. Lost points will be earned back, and whilst all of this is happening, you will be improving as a player. Also remember, this is just a game. It's not something to be obsessed about, to the point of it consuming your mind and giving you the feeling that this is the most important thing in your life. Your life won't end because you didn't make it to Masters, for example. So, in conclusion, try to have a positive mindset. It will go a long way. You will 100% be a better player. There's no doubt in my mind. I lost a lot of games because of bad mentality, so I learned this the hard way. Also, try to be nice to your team. If you are nice to them, it will make them also enjoy the game more and will make them play better. You will win more games, preventing you tilting, and maybe you will find some good players to play with if solo queuing isn't your goal. I always had more success in games where I could get along well with my team, so it's definitely something to remember. I think at Predator level this is probably the most important thing, as all the players are good at that level, but a positive mentality is something not even most of the best players have, and could be an edge for you to have over your opponents, and will lead to you enjoying your time and the game more and keep improving. Well, this wraps up my guide on how to get Predator in ranked arenas. If you have any questions regarding ranking up or arenas related, don't hesitate to ask them in the comment section. Also, I would like to give a shout out to MattCutzzGaming. He makes a lot of guides on how to improve as a ranked player and the great guide Shawn the Bro has made on how to solo queue to Predator. I hope this guide will help you and that you will reach your desired goals. Thank you for watching the video and have fun. Cheers!